So there was this dude, and he was a professor at Purdue University, and he ended up making millions selling these super cheap books from little short form newspaper ads that told stories. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to tell stories in your marketing and how to write stories in your marketing using AI. And we're going to write good stories that are true and that actually work, and they're going to sound cool, and they're not going to be all lame, and people are going to like them. So why do you want to use stories in your ads and in your marketing? Well, because they've worked, and if we wanted to, we could go and dork out on stats and stuff, but I'm pretty sure you know that they work, and one way to tell that they work is that you're watching this video, and I started the video with the story. But if you ever want to Google it, we can see an article from Harvard, and it's got a lady holding some stuff. So that's got to be important. Anyway, like I said, the guy's name was Bud Weckeser, real name Ernest. I think Bud was his nickname. And he's super famous, but nobody knows who he is, which is kind of weird. So if you're a hardcore copywriter, you would totally know this dude, but most people would never have heard of him because he was just this college professor that was okay, screw it, I'm going to become a rich dude that sells books. And he totally did. Had a multi-million-dollar per year company called the Green Tree Press, and he sold books for $10 and stuff, and that was it. It was crazy. And I was doing some research about his ads and everything. I even found that someone's selling a swipe file of his ads for $600. That's how awesome this guy's copy was. And we're going to model it using AI, which is going to be great, assuming I can talk properly in today's video. So if you ever want to see some of his ads and you don't want to spend $600, you can check out this website. It's called swiped.co. I don't know these folks, but it's pretty cool. And here are some examples of the ads that he would run. And I think these ran for 15 years, and they're short. So they're just one pagers, not even a full page, in fact, on a newspaper ad. And they were sent, before the internet, and they were all, like I said, in newspapers. There's no targeting or anything, and it was expensive to run these ads. And in order for people to buy stuff from them, they would have to get up, off of the sofa and go and write a check for $10 and send it to them in the mail. This was in 1989. Look at that. And people did it. And this dude made millions, and he was just selling these cheap books. So I was well, man, I think it would be really cool if we could model his storytelling style using AI. But, we're not going to make anything up. We're going to write really good stuff. So what I did was I went and I took one of his most famous ads. I can get my computer to work properly, which is this one right here. No, I'm sorry, this one right here. His most famous one. People really love this one. I had it, I don't know what the word is. You don't transcribe a printed thing, but I had to turn from weird looking, PDF into usable Google Doc, if I can talk today. And what we're going to do is I've taken this thing and I've made a little prompt for you that you can use with AI and kind of teach it to write in this style. But we're going to do one better. We're not going to use any AI. We're going to use the super cool AI, which I'm obviously heavily biased here, but this is called Ojoy.ai. We have a bunch of tools in Ojoy, but this one's called Project Shepherd. Happens to be my family's business, and I think it's great. So this is designed for people who write ads and marketing and sales copy and content that thinks like a marketer, which is awesome. So I'm just going to paste this thing in here. By the way, you can have this prompt thingy. I haven't built this storytelling functionality into the software or anything, and I don't know if I will because no one's ever asked for it, but I just thought you might dig it. So you can have what I just pasted down there. I'll put a link to it below this video or something. Anyway, check this out. All I've done is essentially, it's probably going to be easier to read right here, is I'm telling Ojoy, okay, there's a framework that this dude's ads follow. Here's the framework. Here's the sales letter that we're going to learn from, and read it and make sure you understand the framework. That's all I'm saying in this thing. Again, you can have this. I'll link to it in the comment section. Hopefully I don't forget. Okay, so I'll just pop that in there. And what's going to happen is Project Shepherd within Ojoy.ai. I want to make sure I say that domain 7,000 times. Project Shepherd's going to read all of this stuff and is going to learn the framework based on this actual ad that worked for 15 freaking years. You got this guy rich selling a $10 book about weight loss. I don't even know how that works. The economics of that are crazy. Had to have converted it like insanely well because I don't think he had anything else for sale, dude. It's not like he had a phone room with high ticket coaching or something, you know, like my man just hung out. This other ad that I found sold it for $12. So maybe they raised that price by $4 whole. I don't know. But anyway, so Ojoy's like, all right, dude, I understand. Okay. So the cool thing about Ojoy, and you could probably maybe get a similar result if you figure out like prompting stuff with ChatGPT or something. But cool thing about Ojoy is it's designed to conversationally extract stuff from you. So what I'm going to do, and you can talk to it so you don't have to type. And I think that eliminates writer's block because, you know, we all had writer's block, but you don't really get talker's block, you know? Like if you have your thing to sell and someone just starts asking you about it, it's not really hard for you to describe it. You know what I mean? But if someone says, write me a letter about your stuff for sale, it's hard to do. So anyway, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to say, okay, now that you understand that framework, I need you to help me write a sales letter that follows that framework. So what it's going to do is it'll start doing what it's programmed to do, which is it's going to extract information from me about the offer, and it'll do the same thing for you. And it'll just ask you stuff. And this is really cool, by the way, because other AI tools, they have like forms you got to fill out. And this thing changes its questioning dynamically based on like your answers. It's crazy. So I'm going to answer all this stuff, but I'm not going to make you watch me because it'll be boring. But it'll probably take me like 10 or 15 minutes. I'm going to have it write a story-based sales letter about Ojoy.ai itself so I can like do a double sales pitch for my AI software in this video. But in doing so, hopefully you'll see how to use the same method for yourself and hopefully profit from it. That'll be awesome. So here we go. Okay, cool. So I answered all the questions and it was easy. It was just me talking to it. It was fun digging up all these testimonials, actually. That was pretty cool. I didn't realize I had so many people that were really digging it. But here you can just see, you know, the transcripts of me yapping at it. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road in terms of me helping you in this video, regardless of whether or not you use Ojoy. The trick to writing good stuff with AI is to get the stuff written like a rough draft, get that written first, and then go back and make it sound cool. And that's exactly what I'm going to let Project Shepherd do now. So I'm just going to tell it, it's done asking me questions and stuff. There we go. Okay. So it'll give me piece by piece, and I'll just show you like this first little session. I'll copy and paste each section of it into a Google Doc here, and I won't make you watch me do that. Oh, one thing I want to point out though is when you're pasting stuff into your Google Doc, just be sure to take out the little parts where it's like, okay, I'm done with that little part right there. All right, so I'll just tell it to write each little chunk of the letter and paste it. It does it chunk by chunk, so it doesn't waste points. That's why it's programmed to do that. Okay, so that took like 2 minutes or something. It was easy, and it's telling me, okay, I'm done. Do you want to adjust anything? And I'm not going to adjust anything. I'm going to take a second and just hit enter a couple times here. And then I'll show you the rough draft that it wrote. Okay, cool. So that took, I don't know, another 2 minutes just for me to hit enter. And this is just for my own like ability to read it, you know? So this is the unedited, other than me hitting this enter bar a couple times, rough draft here. So this would be the sales or the headline right here. All right. And I'll just kind of show you, you know, how I like to do this process. So there's our headline. And this is our subhead. I don't like that, so I'm going to take it away. And now here we go with the actual story. And this is a true story. This really did happen, which is awesome. So if you remember at the beginning of the video, I was like, okay, this Bud Weckeser dude, I analyzed his ads, and there's a 6-part process to the way his ads worked. And these are the 6 parts. You know, it's for me just being a total dweeb, analyzing them like a weirdo copywriting freak that I am. But anyway, you know, someone's got to do it. So I did all of that, and we taught Ojoy the framework and then gave it one of Bud's ads. Okay. So that's why it was able to do this. And it got this story out of me. It was like, hey, how did you make it? Like, tell me about when there was a big aha moment about copy in your career. And I remembered this story. This is a true story. This dude really did. He was a private client. He paid me 40 grand to help him grow his business. He was real spooked about social media and stuff because he had spent 30 grand with some agency, and I'm sure like they were fine, but it didn't work for him. He made like fancy social media TV style videos or something, and like he just didn't get any customers from it. And his whole business was dependent on search engine traffic. It wasn't hanging by a thread, though. He was doing well in business, so I would edit that. I'll maybe do that later. So far, I like this copy, though. Like it's not, I don't really want to change the style of it. It's adopted that Bud Weckeser. Hope I pronounced that right. No disrespect to the family name there. Is adopting the writing tone. It's just nice and easy like that, which is great. So I haven't even had to train it to write in a certain way. And so this whole story is true. Like this dude really was struggling, and we were on the phone, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm worried that if I lose my ranking in Google, that my business will die. And I was like, well, that would suck. And I was like, dude, you need to write, an ad, and let's like try writing an ad in the newspaper. And the only reason I thought of the damn newspaper is because the guy just didn't want to do any social media ads or he was already doing pay per click, so didn't have that. I was like, all right, let's try a newspaper ad. And he was like, okay, what should the ad say? And I'm writing him an email, and I was like, shit, it'll just be easier if I write the damn thing for him than try to explain what to do, and it only took me 45 minutes or so to write it, and it just crushed it. We wrote like an actual newspaper ad, long form advertorial style newspaper ad, and it got like this crazy return on ad spend. It was like worked immediately. I think this is a conservative number, actually. I could go back and look through old emails and find the exact one, but I'm comfortable with this because I know it's more. He actually made more than this. So that was great. I was really thrilled about that. So Ojoi like got that whole story out of me, and I didn't have to write it. All I had to do was talk, and that was really freaking cool. So here it is telling the story, but watching the successful business owner struggle made me realize something. Not everyone has decades to master copywriting. I would remove the word master here because just out of respect for true masters of copywriting, I'm not a master copywriter. I'm just a dude that has written a lot of copy, but nowhere near such blasphemy. Anyway, that's when I got the idea. What if I could create software that thinks like a professional copywriter and marketer? That is kind of when I got the idea for Ojoi. I always wanted something to be able to replicate what I do, so I wouldn't have to work so hard. But AI didn't exist back then. This was like 9 years ago when this thing happened, but it is a part of the seedling idea for Ojoi. I actually built Ojoi initially just for myself, and was like, oh, maybe I should make this thing publicly available. That'll be cool. And it has been. It's been awesome. It's really fun. So anyway, and then it goes on. Look how cool this is. It goes on to like transition here into the benefits. So we've got, our 6-part framework here. Headline, introduction, backstory, and discovery. We've just gone through all of these. Now remember, Bud Weckeser stuff was short, right? It wasn't like super long form sales letters. This thing's only 3 pages. And it's got a lot of, me hitting enter for line breaks and stuff in there. So we're already over here, segue from the discovery into the benefits. All right. So that's where we are. And here's how it did it for us, which is freaking great. If I asked you to sit down right now and write everything about your business, you'd probably get writer's block. It's true, like we all do. We overthink it. It's terrible. But if I just asked you about your business, you've had no problem talking about it. You don't get talker's block, which I actually stole that phrase from Ojoi because it had written me an email talking about you don't get talker's block. And I'm like, that's hilarious. So anyway, we're segueing again into the benefits here. And that's the first breakthrough that makes Ojoi different. But here's what makes it truly powerful. It doesn't just record your answers. It thinks like a seasoned marketer. This is, again, it's like just taking the answers where it's just me rambling. I'm not like typing any of this stuff out. It's taking my rambling replies to its questions and turning it into copy that sounds like it was written by Bud. It's got that very colloquial, conversational tone to it, So it takes what you say and transforms it into engaging content that actually gets results, content that drives sales and engagement. And it doesn't stop at just content. Ojoi.ai can create sales letters that convert. Might remove the word compelling or whatever. I'm like nitpicking, I can't help it. Other than like little things, so I don't really want to edit this. It's actually fine. I was going to make a big deal out of like, now here's how we can make it really cool. But I think it's actually really freaking cool as it sits. I don't want to make it aggressive and heavy. I want to keep it in that cool, playful Bud Weckeser style. It's not like sketchy. You know what I mean? So anyway, Ojoi.ai can create compelling sales letters, complete email sequences, professional video scripts, video sales letter scripts, lead magnets, and any other marketing material that you need. I'll probably add the word written here because it doesn't generate images or anything like that. It's like having a professional ghostwriter and an entire seasoned copywriting team on call 24/7 without the hefty price tag. So we've gone through the benefits. All right. So that was section 4 or 5. And now we're just expanding on these benefits by including testimonials. And if you're selling something and you don't have testimonials, a great thing to do is to find supporting stuff that supports your argument. So for example, if I wanted to, all right, I could take this article and I could be like, hey, I don't have testimonials, but Ojoi helps you write stories. And here's an article about how stories help you. Find stuff we can use in this article, and then let's just reference it. So it wouldn't say like, hey, this person, says Ojoi's awesome. This would be about how important stories are and how stories work. And, that's like true. So you could use like research and news stuff instead of testimonials. Like you never ever want to make anything up. That's my point. And these are all real. I actually went through and started reading stuff that people had written about Ojoi. I was like, damn, this is awesome. I didn't realize I had so many of these. So this is all cool. So we've got like all these testimonials, which is great. I mean, my man, John, I didn't put their last names in here because I didn't ask them if it was cool. He said, 26 social posts after 45 minutes. This is amazing, No contest between Ojoi and other stuff. This is great too. All of these are cool. So yay. And then we transition into the offer. So Ojoi is a free trial. And now this is where I would edit it because it said originally it was like, you don't need a credit card. And I was like, oh no, you do. And so it actually sets it into copy like, hey, we need your credit card to set up your account, but you won't be charged a penny during your trial. I might like rephrase that or something, or maybe leave it out entirely because they fill in their credit card stuff during the trial sign up, So, I don't know if I would put that in the actual copy or not. Usually what happens is people immediately take the trial or they set up a free account, even though on the homepage, look, just so you know, it's just in the comments. I don't keep people going, you're trying to trick people. I'm not. It says it right here. Look, that's on the site, like try it free for 7 days and $49 a month. So just so you know, there's no shenanigans. But I'd probably would just have that in the button and I wouldn't have that part. Other than that though, this is killer. Like, look at this. Think about it. By this time tomorrow, you could have weeks of content created, or you could still be staring at that blank screen, struggling with the same problems you have right now. There's literally nothing to lose. Start your free trial today. Create as much content as you want for 7 full days. Technically, they could run out of points. We have 1 million points in your first month. Most people don't need to buy more, but you could. Like if you went completely crazy with it, you could run out of points. So I would maybe have like some little nitpicky rephrasing here just to make sure that I'm not misleading anyone. This is the last thing I want to do. If you don't love it, just click one button to cancel. Yeah, all right. No awkward phone calls, no complicated process, no hassle of any kind. All true. Super cool. Here's what you risk by not trying it. Love this. More hours wasted staring at blank screens, more procrastination and writer's block, more missed opportunities while your competitors get ahead, and the same content struggles tomorrow that you have today. Remember, in less time than it takes to watch your favorite TV show, you could have weeks worth of content created just like Kate, who got 2 weeks of content done in 15 minutes. Don't let writer's block hold your business back another day. The cycle of content suffering ends the moment you start your trial. Click here to start your free trial. Dude, I'm not going to edit this at all, other than the things I mentioned, but I think I like the writing style. It's friendly and it honors Bud Weckeser, who was freaking amazing. Like, probably a super nice dude, too. Just seems like he would be likable, reading the ads he wrote and stuff. So anyway, this how the 6-part story framework works. You can steal the prompt and try it with some other tools if you want to, or use ojoy.ai as a free trial, for God's sake. And, I'll give you a link to the document and Bud's reformatted ad below in the comment section of this video here. And I hope you enjoy it. And if you did, like, subscribe and all that, but share it, please. That would be so cool if you did that. Like, just forward this to a friend, be like, dude, check this out. This is cool. That would be really awesome. But here it is. You just copy this whole thing right here and slap it in there and you're good to go. And it'll just start asking you stuff. Pretty cool. And don't go spending $600 on Bud Weckerser stuff. Just type in his name, or his business name, Green Tree Press, Bud Weckerser, and you'll see all the swipe files. So ain't no need for you to go spending money for buying that swipe file on this site right here, infomarketingblog.com. This is an amazing resource for sales copy. And the guy that runs this site is one of the coolest dudes ever. Just a heck of a great guy. So plenty of free stuff out there. No need to go out and spend money on that. All right. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please just share it with a friend. That would be awesome. And, say nice things in the comments or whatever. And hopefully I won't forget. You can get a copy of the little document thingy as well in the comment section below. All right, y'all. See you later. Take it easy. The hell's the camera? Okay. Here we go. New office. New computer. All right. Stop record. Bye.